I didn't set out to make a supplement company. I set out to make wellness simple again.
So, Mark, let's go back to 1996 when you started MRM. First, I'd love to hear, as a scientist, what need in the supplement industry did you see that caused you to want to build MRM?
Well, as a dietitian, I always was fighting for nutrient density. And natural consumption of food is where we're originally supposed to get all of our food from. And so I thought our industry could do better than the rest of the food industry that has all these synthetic additives and synthetic vitamins and so forth. And to just really get more natural, more of a source that's OEM, original to our own creation. And so getting stuff that isn't over-processed or over-manipulated or, God forbid, artificial, which is completely foreign to our body and its genetic makeup. So just respecting what we've been given and put quality in so we can get quality out.
I hear that. And how would you say that your scientific background has shaped the way that you led the development of your products?
Well, if I had any control over my background, I would have never picked what I did. But I was exposed to a myriad of different aspects from, as a dietitian, working in kitchens or industrial, institutional kitchens, or working in ingredient companies and ingredient development companies. So getting all ends of the spectrum from food science to my dietetics, and then add a little business in there, and just everything came to fruition. And my ability to understand every single step of making dietary supplements from the ground up was just invaluable to how I developed this company and focused on it and picked what was my priorities. How is MRM different than what everybody else is doing? Because we are. So.
And how is it different?
The selection of ingredients, ingredients taking a priority as far as knowing the efficaciousness of what's going to happen with the consumer. Always trying to make sure that we put adequate dosing and the original tested material as optimized as it can be for absorption and uptake into its respective organs. So this is all important as a dietitian, and then making sure that we can eliminate some of the problems that we learned from in food processing and so forth that eliminate a lot of nutrient density.
And did that desire to understand how to fuel your body and the compounds that support you in, being healthier, did that come from your athletic background?
Yeah, it was definitely through my mom, and she was an athlete, and she understood the benefit of good quality nutrition and good sleep and good hydration. And first thing she taught me was how to fall. So it's understanding to be able to do it and enjoy it instead of something that you're just driven to and can actually harm your body. So.
And throughout your journey, what were some notable key moments? I know you've developed articles and done research. How have those events in your life supported in building MRM, or at least the vision of what MRM is?
It was really going through the research journey that I did, because I got a job, Harbor UCLA, which gave me practical application to what I was learning in school as a dietitian. But the ability to not only go into research in a clinical study center, also to develop friendships and relationships with other great postdocs who are working in the bungalows associated, and go over there and have lunch and have, vibrant intellectual nutrient biochemical discussions, And then at the same time, we're all showing each other what we're eating for lunch. And so you'd learn from the Chinese guy, oh, we do this when we have bad wind, or not the kind of wind we think of. Or you talk to the guy from India, and he'd share some of his Ayurvedic understanding and why he incorporates curries at certain times into his diet and so forth. So it was just fascinating.
Wow, that's so interesting. So at that stage is when you were exposed to all of these other methods of healing, like Ayurveda, Campo, traditional Chinese medicine, which also shape the way that you've developed your supplements. Can you tell me more about that?
Well, the thing is that many times they consider these Eastern medicines as holistic, and it is because it deals with the whole body. And for me as a dietitian, I'm also dealing with the emotional and the difficulties that modern people have. What time constraints do they have? What kind of money do they have to spend on things? How can I make it easy and accessible and practical for people to get good nutrition and to put out a little effort and get lots back?
Yeah, that's a great perspective, and incorporating that is very powerful because we are holistic beings, and treating ourselves as such is just optimal overall for our body, our mind, and our spirit.
Yes.
The supplement industry has evolved so much, and you've worked in, originally the first company that you opened, which is ChemiSource.
Yes.
Now MRM Nutrition.
Yes.
And seeing that evolution as you build your supplements, what are some of the values that you have refused to compromise on as the products develop and as you produce so many supplements, because you do distribute in over 300 stores in the United States?
Well, there's a lot to where I ended up at when I started ChemiSource. First of all, it wasn't my idea, but the idea was to do better. There's so many other things we could have done better in the industry, and it all started with the ingredients and how they're prepared, how we handle them from the soil, which is the nutritive. How do we put fertilizers? Are they organic fertilizers? Are they made for that type of plant? Is it in the proper plant rotation within that soil to develop the soil? And it goes all the way through to how do we process, when do we harvest, what pesticides are used. And so to bring all that into, meeting growers and harvesters and food processors in the area that can meet my needs, it became a challenge for me to do it my way. And because I was known in the industry, it was kind of putting my fingerprint on what I do. And this is the way I do it. It's very thoughtful and full of value at the end.
And what motivated you to put so much heart into this business?
Well, I just saw that money was driving things and things need to be cheaper. And honestly, our food supply has gotten cheaper and cheaper every year. And more goes into marketing and more goes into packaging and more goes into this and that, instead of the core being its value. And so just meeting the core is taking care of everything. I didn't need to advertise. I didn't need to do any of these because those that knew understood the value. So the buyers from different stores would request our stuff, and we were able to grow organically at a wonderful pace, and it was very doable and sustainable, and that's why we're here 29 years later.
Thank you so much, Mark. It's been fabulous getting to know you, MRM Nutrition, and really the origin story of how it all started. Stay tuned for the next segment. Please give us a thumbs up if you like this video and make sure to subscribe.